Welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel.
Take me in your arms, do just what you want. You're the one I trust. I belong to you, and I'll always be around when I need some loving, baby. And I'll never let you down, let you down, let you down.
So I am answering a question from an email subscriber that asked me, how do you deal with being married, newly married, and stepchildren? It took me some time to really think about that. I'm experienced in that. Being that my husband and I got married when I was 25 and he was 26. And he had a child before we got married. And I must be honest with you, at 25, I was immature and did not have children of my own. So I did not know what to feel or what to think at the time. But as I grew in the relationship, as I grew in the marriage, I understood that it was not about me. It was more so about that child. And I asked myself, what kind of mother would I be, or what kind of wife would I be if I stood in between a man and his child? No matter what the woman and I thought of each other or how we felt about each other, it wasn't about us, it was about the kid. And so I pushed myself back from the situation. It wasn't immediately, it took a while because I felt like the mother was constantly coming in between or trying to make an excuse for the child on behalf of her. And once I got the opportunity to really evaluate the situation, I saw deeper into it, and it probably had a little bit to do with that as well, because a lot of times when people move on, get married to somebody else, sometimes you have some jealousy there. But the mature thing to do is never come between a child and the parent, especially a relationship with a father and son, father and daughter, whatever, or if the tables are turned and if it's a mother and son, a mother and daughter. The thing that you can do is be very supportive. Be very supportive of the child, because the child didn't ask to be here. It was a decision made by two adults or young adults that it occurred. And I think in the best interest of the child, if you put the child first and really remove yourself and let them, the mother of the child and your husband, deal with the situation, you will be much more at peace. And I must also tell you that I became much more at peace with myself when I had children with my husband together, when he and I had children, because that literally removed me from dealing with that situation, because I had my own kids to deal with. And a lot of times, if you don't have children yourself, you really don't know what you'll say or what you'll do under a circumstance or in that situation, because you're just speaking on what you think you'll do, not what you know you will do. And so once I had my children with my husband, my focus was clearly on trying to make sure that I provided a peaceful home for my children. And if my husband's son, which literally when you get married is your child too, tried to provide a peaceful place when the child did come to our home. I wanted him to feel at home. I didn't want to exclude him. It took a while too. I mean, it really took a while, because you can tell when children are kind of misled and misguided by adults. And we do that sometimes intentionally and sometimes not. But bottom line, I really believe that we should leave the situation alone, especially if you came into that situation and the child existed before you got there. I think you really need to pay attention to the dynamics before you even say I do. I think you need to really talk to your fiance, boyfriend, before you get married, because a child in a relationship that is not a part of that union can literally cause a lot of havoc, a lot of stress, a lot of breakups. And so if you don't have an established foundation prior to getting married, what you're going to deal with is probably going to be more than you want. And it's going to be stressful. and you're probably going to say want to say bye. I mean, because literally I wanted to say bye plenty of times, and it was really the love of my husband, because I knew my husband is and was at that time when we got married a good man, and I did not want to lose a good man because I personally couldn't put aside my own personal views of him having a child before we got married. I knew that. Okay, so if you know that your spouse has a child, or your significant other or your boyfriend, don't ever try to take that child's place, that mother's place, excuse me. Don't ever try to take that mother's place, because a child, we only get one real parent. Okay, we only get one mom, we only get one dad. And I never, even to this day, he does not call me mom. I don't even want him calling me mom, because I'm not his mom. I want it to be more so of his confidant. Even today, we don't speak like probably step parents do, but we're cordial with each other. And even today, being a grown man, which he is, I would still tell my husband to put him first, because, well, not necessarily, let me take that back. I would tell him to put his interests, whatever interest he has for his child, make sure he put the interest first, because husband, wife, God says, forsake all others, cling unto your spouse, and that's the way it should be. Even with our own children, my husband and my children, they're young adults now. And I tell my husband this all the time, when the kid's gone, it's just me and you, which they are, because they're in college now. So we literally have to think about us, me and him. What are we going to do with our lives when the children are gone? And you have to think like that. But back to the question at hand, never, ever, ever, ever come between a child and the parent. You can aid as support system. You can aid as someone as a confidant. And those are things that you want to do, because the man, wife, either way, typically it's the man is already stressed out, especially if he's a good father, stressed out with the situation, and you nagging him or constantly combative with him and the child's mother can really put some hardship into your relationship. So that's my viewpoint. Everybody's situation is different. But I would encourage you, before you get married, talk about marriage, talk about the relationship that you plan to have when you say I do. Now, granted, the dynamics will change. Okay. The dynamics will change when you say I do. And why? Because once that ring is put on your finger and you become his new thing, his new woman, sometimes that other person gets jealous and gets upset. But you cannot let that deter you from being with the one you love. You just have to learn how to respect. And excuse me if I'm looking both ways. I'm still trying to get this camera thing going here. The camera button is over there, so I'm looking that way. Then if I look this way, then you see me. All kind of stuff. But I hope this information is helpful, because I want to give answers. And if you're not connected with me at Love Thy Marriage on Instagram, I just started a private Facebook group as well. We're going to be doing some great things in 2020 to try to solidify, yes, I said solidify, the foundation of a sustainable marriage, to keep marriage going. And so many people, I was reading an article the other day, and it was talking about how many people in India stay married with arranged marriages. And here in the United States, we get to choose the one that we love and want to spend the rest of our life with. Whereas in other countries, sometimes they're arranged marriages, and their percentage of marriage and divorce in America is like 70%, 50 to 70%. Whereas in other countries, arranged marriages last longer. So that's something to think about too. I don't know if I necessarily would want an arranged marriage, because I don't know. I like my choice. I like having my choice in who I choose to spend my time with and to live with. So hopefully these tips have helped you, and I will be answering more questions. Again, if you're not connected with me over on IG, go over to at Love Thy Marriage, and I'll put a link below as well, so you can get some tips. You can also DM me and ask me questions, and I will address them live. Thanks for being a part of my space, and I will talk with you soon. Blessings and peace, and keep that love alive. Thank you for watching the Startup CEO Lifestyle TV. If this is your first time here, do not let it be your last. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe. If you're returning, thank you for being a part of my family. Blessings and peace unto you and yours. Make it a great day.